Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Now before we get into this video, I have to apologize in advance. You might be hearing some little baby sounds in the background. I'm currently on babysitting duty with my nephew. You know, like they say, the show must go on. It is what it is. And honestly, I've never done this before, but I kind of like the company. And of course, my little baby nephew says hi. So for this video, me and the nephew are bringing to you guys some real fake news journalism, exposing these leftist mainstream media scum hack journalists. And of course, where's the first place you want to look to find these guys? Well, none other than MSNBC. If you're looking to find a frog, then you look in a swamp. If you're looking to find a fake news frog, well then you look in the media swamp. That's exactly what we're gonna do. I have this viral clip, an interview between Mehdi Hasan and Matt Taibbi. These Democrats keep resorting to the same kind of cheap tactics to try to dunk on or take down Matt Taibbi, and it keeps backfiring spectacularly. Let me show you guys exactly what I mean. We got some stuff to get into. Let's roll the tape. Alright friends, so take a look at the headline. Matt Taibbi rips MSNBC host over network doing, quote, nothing but vomit up fake Russian stories before host ends the segment. Take a look at the first interaction.
I do want to get your response to it. Can we play the clip of you telling Joe Rogan about how you should deal with sources who give you information? Let's play that clip.
With any kind of journalist, like once you start getting handed things, then you've lost. You know what I mean? They have you at that point, and you got to get out of that habit. It's like, or you can't cross that line.
So per your own words, Matt, you crossed that line and Musk has you. Those are your words.
The hilarity of this coming from MSNBC, which did nothing but vomit up fake Russiagate stories that came straight from the FBI for 6 consecutive years that you guys still haven't apologized for.
Great. I wasn't there in that period, so I've got nothing to apologize. I'm asking you your words. Did you cross a line? It's a very simple question. You can what about and deflect. It's a simple question. We played a clip for you. I'm giving you a chance to answer. Did you cross the line? Your words.
No, I did not. The stories are self-contained stories that hold up in themselves. And what I was talking about in the Joe Rogan story, I was quoting a passage from Seymour Hersh's book, Reporter, when he was talking about when he was given a story by the CIA about an Israeli spy that they had caught. And he was saying something to the effect of, I, who had always gotten the material, was being handed the material. So, yeah, look, it sounds bad, but this stuff is clearly in the public interest. It's real, it's true, and I'm doing the best I can to report it. The question is, the test you always have with your sources is whether or not this stuff is in the public interest and whether it's accurate. And apparently I've gotten like one thing wrong or a few things wrong, but mostly I think these stories are going to hold up over the test of time, unlike your Russiagate story.
How frustrating it must be to try to be a journalist in today's day and age. Or at least, this is what happens when you report on real stories, when you do actual journalism work. You're met with the same vicious attacks from all of these fake Democrat hacks trying to attack you with this ridiculous gotcha moment from that one moment on the Joe Rogan podcast. I'm sure you guys remember when Matt Taibbi showed up in front of the House of Representatives. All the Democrats present during that hearing did the exact same thing, and it's the exact same line of questioning. This one little quote, a snippet, totally edited, void of context. They use it in the most duplicitous manner you could possibly imagine in a pathetic attempt to basically discredit everything he says. Instead of actually discussing the merit or the context of the story that he's reporting on, they just keep attacking him with this same fake garbage point endlessly. Oh, well, you previously said that when a journalist starts accepting stories or when they're bringing you stories, that's when you cross a line. Does that entirely discredit you, Matt Taibbi? Should we take you seriously because you were handed a story? I mean, what a ridiculous line of questioning. First of all, Matt Taibbi is merely bringing up a passage from Seymour Hersh's book, The Reporter, or rather Reporter, and he's talking about something entirely different. He's talking about journalists who essentially become useful idiots or pawns of the CIA, being fed documents or information, and the point that he was making is that at that point you're essentially just a mouthpiece of the CIA, or you're pushing whatever propaganda they want. Clearly they're just handing you stories because they want you to set a specific narrative. At that point you're just a CIA-controlled pawn. The context isn't even relevant to Matt Taibbi receiving information from Elon Musk, I mean, if that's the standard, then every journalist ever has apparently crossed the line and is incredible. I mean, at one point, every journalist has received documents or information from someone to write a story. It's such an incredibly frustrating line of question. Like I said earlier, so disingenuous and duplicitous, and you could tell how frustrated he is. You could tell that he's pretty much done with all these garbage leftoid media hacks, as he responds with, "It's pretty rich coming from MSNBC that does nothing but vomit fake news." You can tell how these mainstream media clowns are nothing but talking heads, little puppets who want to push a narrative. They don't actually want to have a discussion if it doesn't fit their narrative, and so they operate in such a bad faith manner. And here's the beautiful irony of operating in bad faith. The next question, coming from Mehdi Hassan, was arguably even worse.
You seem to be offended. I'm sure you work very hard. I was a big fan of yours for many years. I've always admired your writing. Which is why I have to ask this last question, which you're going to say in bad faith, but I promise it is. It's genuinely as a former fan. You tweeted in response to Jim Jordan, and you started the interview saying, oh, my journey. You have been on a journey for many of us. You said it was an honor. Thank you, Chairman Jim Jordan. It was an honor. A lot of people think that sounded a bit fawning to one of the most right-wing members of Congress. Later, you meet Ted Cruz.
I don't think it's an honor to be invited to Congress.
Who calls you a true patriot. He calls you a true patriot, and you're all looking very intense in that picture. I wonder, when you met Ted Cruz, did you tell Ted Cruz that how you wrote in 2015 that he has, quote, big doses of Tea Party energy, and in 2018 that he's like an incurable skin condition? Do you understand why, Matt, those people who have read your stuff find it amazing now, the people you are?
Ted Cruz knows what I've written about him over the years. He knows that I talked about him as, I described him as having a face like a waterlogged Reagan mask sewn together at gunpoint. He knows all that stuff, but that's the point. This is America. We don't have to agree all the time. I don't have to like them these people all the time. They're on this issue. They're giving oxygen to something that I think is important, that I think a lot of people is important. And if he wants to meet me, that's fine. If Jim Jordan wants me to come talk in front of Congress, I'm happy to do it. I'm happy to answer questions. If I'm wrong about something, I'm happy to answer that too. But
I guess where we disagree is
that I'm committing some kind of a capital offense by testifying in Congress about my own reporting, answering questions factually, and meeting these people is ridiculous.
I guess where we disagree, Matt.
It is an honor to talk to Congress. It was an honor to talk to Congress, and I'm proud that I did that.
I mean, not every congressional committee is an honor to appear in front of. I'm pretty sure it wasn't an honor to be invited when people were invited to the House Un-American Activities Committee. I mean, this is the point, Matt. The context, we're out of time, sadly, but the context is...
the state of journalism. You once tweeted something about a Republican. Why are you telling far-right Jim Jordan that it was an honor to testify in front of Congress? Are you a Republican stooge? He starts off this question with this weird passive-aggressive praise/insult. You're a great writer, and I used to like to read your pieces. You're great, but now I hate you, essentially, is what he told him. Matt Taibbi's facial reaction to that whole weird bit pretty much tells you all that you need to know. And then goes on to say that this question might seem like it's in bad faith, but trust me, it's not, and then proceeds to ask the most bad faith question you could possibly imagine. My Republican's bad. You tweeted something about Ted Cruz. What does that even mean? What are you talking about? What are you saying? MSNBC journalist Mehdi Hassan. The guy's a leftist media culture warrior with no intention of actually having a productive dialogue about the actual issue at hand, and everything is just gotcha moments. Well, what about this tweet that you wrote about Ted Cruz X amount of years ago? Well, why did you call Jim Jordan your honor after being sworn in during a congressional hearing to testify? What about this totally out of context 10-second clip of you on Joe Rogan's show? Does that discredit everything you've ever done in your life? I mean, what a freaking loser. There's no other way to say it. Matt Taibbi treated him, honestly, with too much respect. If anything, I would have freaking unleashed on this guy, operating in complete bad faith, playing ridiculous partisan games, and of course, lying. Remember his initial rebuttal to Matt Taibbi's whataboutism response about MSNBC calling them fake news vomiters?
Great. I wasn't there in that period, so I've got nothing to apologize. I'm asking you your words.
He claims, well, I don't know anything about that because I wasn't here during the time that we were reporting on fake news Russia nonsense. It's such a weak argument, such a weak cop-out. Well, you might not have been there for the whole Russiagate nonsense, but you certainly were there for the Hunter Biden laptop obfuscation and lying that it was Russian disinformation and countless other fake news stories. Matt Taibbi at the very, very end mentioned the Hunter Biden laptop story, and this was Mehdi Hasan's response.
I have to leave it there, Matt. Thank you for appearing on the show.
What about the Hunter Biden story?
Appreciate your time. I don't think I've ever written about the Hunter Biden story, so maybe you should apologize to me for putting words in my mouth. You said at the beginning I put words. I never said a word about the Hunter Biden story, but we will be right back.
Well, not so fast, Mr. Mehdi Hasan. Here's a tweet from December 2022. A reminder that both the Murdoch-owned Fox and the Murdoch-owned Wall Street Journal turned down the Hunter Biden laptop story, and the reporter who wrote the story for Murdoch-owned New York Post wouldn't put their name on it. But sure, it was a liberal media conspiracy to suppress it. Even if every word of the New York Post reporting on Hunter Biden is true, every word of it, it still wouldn't equate to 1% of the corruption stories involving Trump administration members, or the Trump administration members' family members. Mehdi Hasan, you are a clown. You vomit fake news. You're a paid actor, a bad faith shill, and anybody with an IQ above room temperature can see that without much thought. That's what I got for you guys on this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel. Of course, you know that we'd love to have you here at the Liberal Hive Mind. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. And of course, my little baby booger nephew says bye.